Okay, well, hi everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon on National Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day as well for a Q&A on the gluten-free diet and a cooking demo as well. Today, our town hall guests are from Schär, so I want to welcome Christiana and Carl, and I'll turn it over to them. Just want to say thank you so much to Schär for your continued support of us and those around the world with celiac disease. Really appreciate it.
We are so excited to be here with Beyond Celiac today. There are two of us, but I will intro myself first. I'm Christiana Williams. I'm the dietitian and nutrition services manager here for Schär USA and Canada. And I have been a dietitian for 12 years now. For all the dietitians who may be watching or catching this later, happy Dietitians Day. Today is March 12th. So this is an extra special day for me to be here and present to all of you. And I started out in community nutrition, went into food service, which worked with a chef that had celiac disease, which kind of like really opened my eyes up to the gluten-free and celiac community. And then eventually started my own private practice before joining here at Schär. And a majority of the patients that I have seen are women's health and autoimmune conditions, celiac being one of them. So I've been working with the celiac community, again, for about the last 6 years in total. And again, it's near and dear to my heart. So I'm so excited to be here and working for Schär. And we'll get into more of how we really support the celiac community and gluten sensitive community in a little bit. But with that, I will also turn it over to Carl Borman.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carl, aka Charles. I am part of the marketing team. I see a lot of oversee the US, Canada, and food service efforts for marketing. I'm also the manager of our consumer services team. So whenever you reach out to us, if you have a question about anything, Alex and Lily are part of my team. So yeah, I've been with Schär for about 3 years. One of the big things for me was always finding a job that, had meaning. So what my roots with Schär are is I have a minor case of IBS. I have family and friends with celiac disease, and finding a company with a mission statement to help others with specialized nutritional needs really hit home for me. So with that being said, yeah, been here for 3 years. Love every minute of it. I love meeting everyone in the celiac community, hearing about their stories, hearing about how Schär has helped them and things that we can help moving forward with the celiac community. So yeah, I'll kick it back over to Christiana, and she'll give a breakdown of this. I'm going to try to stay in the background and not be like kind of weird with my head popping out.
Yeah, so thanks, Carl. Yeah, we have a fun day today for everybody. I know, or hopefully majority of those watching or even catching the replay have already know Schär, the brand, but even if you do or have heard of us before, or maybe you've been a long time customer of ours, I always like to kind of bring it back home and share more of, kind of what Carl alluded to, like our mission, because we're not just a gluten-free company. And I'm going to turn it over then to our slides. And our mission here at Schär is to improve the lives of people with special nutritional needs. So like I kind of said, we're not just a gluten-free brand. We really make it like gluten-free, and why we're gluten-free and who our customers are is literally a quote unquote bread and butter. And if you see, pun intended, if you see the picture, the picture behind us, I think really tells more of our story. So yes, we're looking to improve the lives of people with special nutritional needs through nourishment, through inclusivity, through diversity. But really seeing this picture, everyone has a seat at the table. You can see there's a wide range of food. And yes, maybe being gluten-free, maybe you need something different. Maybe you have special needs in like how we prep and what you're eating. But at the end of the day, we really want everyone to feel like they're part of the table. We don't want to feel, sometimes it could be, you feel a little excluded, or sometimes it's overwhelming, but we really try to make it easy. And that's why Schär as a company, we've made such a wide range of different products to really hone in wherever you're trying to go. Schär can be there for you to help support that inclusivity within the gluten-free community. Okay, so this is a pretty lengthy slide. Real overview is that here's our mission, improving the lives of people with special nutritional needs. In fact, it's all we do. Schär, we initially started, our headquarters is in Italy, in northern Italy, beautiful, in Bergstall. And since then, we have so many different locations, 100 countries now where we're serving Schär, really looking at the celiac community. We expanded to North America here in the US in 2007 and then Canada in 2014. And I apologize here, I'm only calling out Canada associations, but of course, Beyond Celiac is here, here in the US. So we're really trying to get integrated with all of the different celiac and gluten sensitive and digestive health associations. Okay, Carl will always say this is his favorite slide.
Love this one.
Because our, what we do, our approach is really food as medicine. So we're looking at front and center before looking at pharma, before looking at meds and even supplements and pharmaceuticals. We were looking at what is the diet. And as a dietitian, I can nerd out about this all day long, because really food is always going to be the first and foremost. You can take all the meds and all the other extra things, but if your food is off, if your diet is not right for your health to nourish you from the inside out, nothing's going to it's not going to hone in. You're not going to get the full picture of progress, right? And so here, when the diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When the diet is right, medicine is still of no use. So that's the goal here. And for me, again, looking at what I do for Schär is looking at the nutrition quality of our products, and also, driving that inclusivity, making it super accessible no matter where you are. Like I said, we're over in 100 different countries. When you're traveling, wherever you are, Schär can be, and hopefully is, like your go-to safety net, right, when it comes to your gluten-free needs. Okay. So again, another lengthy one. I won't touch too much on every single thing here, but the fundamentals of our quality commitments. We talked about our mission. Here's the thing specifically me as a dietitian is really looking for and supporting when we talk about making new products, getting our products out into for the consumers. I want to see where our ingredients is coming from. I'm looking at, can we have sustainable practices, not using any additives, no preservatives, know that the quality of our products and the integrity of our products is super important to me. Remember, I said gluten-free is all we do. We are dedicated to those celiac and gluten sensitive. So safety, right, is so big. And we can talk about that within this community all day long, but really looking at, okay, where are we sourcing our products? How are we producing it, manufacturing it in our plants? What are we looking at allergens too? How can we, kind of meet the needs for so many more? Because we also know allergens is also, sometimes correlated with those with celiac, really trying to avoid cross-contamination. Looking at nutrition quality, right? I'm talking about diet, I'm talking about nourishment. So we're looking at sugar, salt, fiber, healthy fats, protein content, really looking at metabolically. Yes, this is gluten-free, which we know is great for celiac, but are we actually nourishing? Are we supporting the health of our consumers? And that, again, is so important to me, and why Schär really strives on that as well, which not all companies do.
Christiana, really quickly.
Oh boy.
I know we received a question earlier, and I just want to make sure that I give time for you to answer this.
Okay.
So earlier we received a question from Georgina, and she asks, should I eat foods that have no gluten ingredients but are processed on lines that use wheat, wash down between, or don't test or label for gluten-free?
This is so, he took me by surprise here. Yeah, so that is one of the questions we got. So I think this is kind of a multifaceted answer. And I say that because, one, if you are a celiac and you have celiac disease, you go into a restaurant and they're saying all that. Personally, when I consult my patients with celiac, I would say I probably wouldn't go to that route as the safest, because you can't guarantee that they're cleaning it properly. You can't guarantee that they even are educated well enough to know if they, what does it mean to cross-contaminate? Is it actually getting to that threshold, that safety threshold of 20 parts per million under gluten? So for a celiac, I would say probably do your research and try to find more of a celiac-friendly restaurant.
Totally agree, yeah.
However, I know that there are some people here that maybe you don't have celiac disease, but you are super gluten sensitive. Then I would say you can proceed with caution. And again, this could vary. But I would say maybe because someone who's gluten sensitive can maybe tolerate a little bit more gluten
than someone with celiac.
With someone with celiac, it has to be under 20 parts per million. Evidence-based, that's how they can be okay with consuming. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it sounds like, Georgina, what Christiana's saying is proceed with caution at all costs.
When in doubt.
When in doubt.
There's so many apps. There's so many. I know I live right outside Philadelphia. There's like a Facebook group of like a celiac Facebook group, and even like Beyond Celiac, I'm sure has so many resources of like, hey, here are some really celiac friendly restaurants. Or, I would always start there first before like trying a new place.
That's the best move. Again, my cousin, celiac.
Okay.
Our go-to move is to really research the area. He has an app that he likes to use.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's on the money.
I think it's always be safe, more safe than sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, can't agree more. Sorry that I snuck up on that.
He did. I am not gonna lie. He took me by surprise with.
Hey, we're live. We're live. We're doing it live, and that's what happens. Who knows? I just might pop in the screen again.
You never know. This is fun with Charles. Maybe that's what we should have done. Okay, yeah. So where was I? So nutrition quality, the consumer, I kind of mentioned we're looking at the consumer needs from looking at their preferences. We're always taking, we're always getting survey results, and we're always researching like, what are our consumers saying? Do they like our products? Do they have allergies? Do they want more things without allergies? Or do they want, how do they think of our taste? Like, how can we continue to improve? Really here remaining to be the forefront of gluten-free food, innovation, and research. And then finally, non-GMO, we're looking at that. How can we support local communities? How can we reduce carbon footprint and overall sustainability, and just improving overall accessibility of quality ingredients with our consumers. Okay, and I would give you all a disservice if I didn't kind of touch on this. And I know I'm sure most of you are more celiac, but there are correlations between those with celiac disease and having IBS as well. Carl also alluded, some IBS.
Yeah.
Some IBS here and there. And so what Schär also does is, because we do see the correlation, and because we also see just gluten being a big trigger, a typical common trigger for those with IBS, we also are low FODMAP certified. And so gluten being one of the big FODMAPs here. And so if you look here, I know it's kind of hard to see, but here's a sample of our pizza crust, which is one of our popular products. You can see the little Monash symbol here. And basically Monash University is it's in Australia, it's started in Australia, and all they do is focus on IBS and research and diet and approaches. And they also have a whole app and everything. And they have tons of approved products, including Schär, many of our Schär products that have this certification. Okay. And then I'm going to bring us home here. And so with that, hopefully you got a little bit more, a little more of a taste of Schär, if you will, and our mission and what we do. Like I said, we're not just a gluten-free company. We are looking at working with celiac associations. We're looking at how can we support the IBS and gluten-free community. Can we give you, free resources, more recipes, gluten-free meal plans? How can we really, again, make it so easy, to be gluten-free and living gluten-free? We actually have a whole gluten-free guide here. It's a downloadable on our website. Okay, with that, we are going to switch gears just a little bit and have some fun with Chef Charles. To make
not certified chef,
but to make our gluten-free Reuben sandwich using our bread. Take it away, Carl, and I'm putting on my apron.
Put your apron on. Let's make sure that we are set and ready to go. So today, I don't know if anyone is celebrating St. Patty's Day, but if anyone likes Reuben sandwiches, that's what we're going over today. So we're going to be making some Schär gluten-free Reubens. We're going to be using some of our deli style bread. We have both of our deli style breads here, which is our regular deli style sourdough and our deli style seeded. So right here, we've got our air fryer. So we're going to be air frying these bad boys. So this one is specifically, I brought this from home. This is my gluten-free air fryer. So this is solely used just for gluten-free. So I figured, let me share it with some people.
We love it.
All right. So that being said, what we're going to do, we're going to turn on the air fryer first. But, all right, we've got our little bucket here. And what I'd like to do, if you grab those plates, please. All right. So first off, I like to line my air fryer with so some type of parchment paper just to reduce all of the nonsense that gets stuck down there. And I got to pick between the sourdough regular or the deli style seeded. I'm going to go deli style seeded personally. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set the air fryer to 400. So that's the temperature that you want. And for the time, I'm going to put it at 10 minutes. And I'm going to put my deli style seeded into the air fryer. You know what? I'm just going to pop it on in. Give it a little pre-toast, if you will. And boom! All right. So that being said, so Christiana, I know that we received a ton of different questions.
Yes.
One thing that Christina, very close to your name, she said, "Can you please tell me if wheat starch is gluten-free?" She has a family member who has celiac disease and found out that the gluten-free pizza that they get is made with wheat starch. My family member has not had a reaction to this pizza, but I'm worried it could still be causing damage. Thank you. Pause. Schär has a gluten-free pizza crust that does not have wheat starch, so that is one option for you, Christina. But
Very true.
what is your take on wheat starch?
Yes. I'm going to push up a little bit just because this is a little bit loud. Okay. Gluten-free and wheat starch. This is a very big question, I think, in the gluten-free space, right?
Oh, it's a hot topic.
I get it all the time. Our consumer services gets it all the time. Here's the thing. Wheat starch, when used in gluten-free, so what happens is we're taking the endosperm of the wheat. Essentially, it goes through this whole process. I'm not going to get too nitty-gritty, but it goes through a water dissolving process where basically the gluten from that wheat is getting removed. With that being said, that wheat starch becomes more powdery because you're getting all that gluten out, and then you're left with literally powdered wheat starch without gluten. And that, for when gluten-free companies say that they're using wheat starch, they are using that as a thickener in their products to improve the quality and texture of the product, to make it fluffy, to taste well, to look like the right quote unquote consistency.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it is gluten-free. However, so if you have celiac disease, and you don't have a wheat allergy, you can very well have that product made with wheat starch. However, if you do have a wheat allergy, whether you have celiac disease or not, you can't have that wheat starch because it still has the wheat in it. And I think that's where it gets a little bit confusing.
It's the old wheat versus gluten situation.
And so Christina, in her case, she's using a gluten-free, it's certified gluten-free pizza, or whatever product you're using, that wheat starch has met their certification guidelines to be under the 20 parts per million gluten threshold, meaning it does meet that certification to be gluten-free, just like any other certified gluten-free product. Does that make sense, Carl?
That was perfect and great timing, because now we have our pre-toasted deli style bread. So right now, again, I toasted the deli style slices very, very minimally. Did it for a minute and 30 seconds. Now, pro tip, you can leave it as is, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this bad boy over a little bit.
Oh.
So there you go. That's number one. Now I'm going to load up. And the key to a good Reuben is the layering process. You can't just throw everything on there and hope it's going to be good. There is a specific routine that I like to do. I like to go cheese, meat, sauerkraut, sauce. So right now, all right. So we have our pre-toasted bread. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese on because I'm not gonna be eating all of this, and I know if I put too much cheese on, I'm gonna have a little bit of an issue with my yes. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna throw some cheese on here. Christiana's probably gonna eat half of it at least, I hope. So we're gonna go one, and this is we got some freshly sliced Swiss. And for the record, I am putting these are very, very thin slices. So I'm gonna put around,
which is key.
yeah, which is 100%. But also for me, it's helpful because I can put around 4 slices on here, and I'm gonna be okay. If I put 4 slices of thicker cut, I might have to leave the office right after this. Exactly. So right now, okay, here, last one. Christiana, one for good luck. 5 slices, Swiss on. Now, take that sandwich. We're going back in the bucket. We're going to go on for another minute and 30 seconds. And while we wait, question from Charmaine. As far as celiac disease, what other foods besides wheat, rye, and barley can you not have?
That's another good question. So gluten is primarily in wheat, rye, and barley. But you also have to remember that there are, subforms of wheat, rye, and barley. Like marble rye, for example. You have to think it's not just simple wheat, rye, and barley because there's so many things made out of those like derivatives from those things. Pasta, breads, desserts, pastries, all of that could be made with wheat, rye, and barley. So you have to be careful with that. Oats, though, I can't not say oats here because oats are one of the most highly cross-contaminated foods with gluten. So it's not that you can't have oats, you just have to be super careful that wherever you're sourcing your oats. So there are really good brands out there that are actually gluten-free oats or made in a gluten-free facility to prevent any cross-contamination of oats.
Okay. And that's a perfect segue into Christy G's question. How can we limit cross contact?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you are at home, the best way to avoid, okay. So if you have a family member that has celiac and obviously has to go gluten-free, I think the number one question is, are you all willing to go gluten-free in the home? That would be the easiest to prevent cross-contamination. I also know that's not always realistic, especially if you have kids and some are gluten-free and some are not or whatnot. So the second best piece of advice at home is to make sure you have a dedicated kitchenware, dedicated utensils, dedicated storage of all of where you make your gluten-free food. So that'll include a cutting board, an air fryer if you can, having maybe one shelf in your pantry to be like the gluten-free dedicated section.
I participate in that. All of these things that you're saying, I personally participate in because, again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And also, again, there are multiple people that can be affected with this. I'm sure if, you have a kid and a friend comes over, at least like there are options that they can provide other people as well. So.
Right. Yeah, and that's another good point. And so the third thing is that if you are going out and you're unsure, it's always good to have, kind of a plan B, if you will. So having, not to call out our products, actually, and I do this with my kids, is the muffins. They're individually wrapped. I kind of throw one everywhere, like all the backpacks, all of my bags, in case we need like a snack last minute or we're in like a social setting where there isn't an option, at least you have yourself covered.
I throw the muffins right into my mouth, like straight up and in. They're so good. If you have not tried the muffins, go try the muffins.
The chocolate chip ones are
incredible. Sorry to interrupt you, but I need
no, that's good. And then the last piece, how to avoid cross-contamination. I guess if you're out, having packaged options if you're available, if that's an option, but also do your research. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. I think when I work with celiac patients, or maybe they're they're too shy, or they don't want to seem like a burden to reach out and talk to the chef or talk to the manager and say, can you tell me how you are, how are you frying XYZ? How are you, do you have a dedicated gluten-free space? You are totally, it's okay to ask those questions. And I want you to feel empowered to ask those questions, because your needs are just as important as anybody else's. So it's really important to advocate and really speak up to make sure we're preventing cross-contamination in all the different ways.
Yeah, totally agree. So speaking of cross-contamination, we're still not, because we're all safe open here. But let me get those tongs over by you. So right now we had the cheese is a little melted. I don't know if you can see, but right here we have our cheese melted on one slice, and we have our other slice as well. We're eventually sandwich that up. But that being said, tongs, we're gonna take some of the good stuff. We got some corned beef. Now we're layering, right? This, we're gonna be sharing this, so I'm gonna be putting it. I'm not gonna put it crazy high, but I'm gonna do 3, maybe 4 slices, because we're gonna share. So we got 4 slices of this right on here, right?
And they're thinly sliced.
Thinly sliced. So also, another key.
Tip.
Yes, you want the meats and the cheeses thinly sliced. You want the deli style bread, because it just holds it so well.
And Carl, why do you like the seeded over?
For me, it just there's something.
I'm just curious.
There's something about the seeded version that brings me back to childhood when it was. I grew up in North Jersey. I don't know if you can tell from my accent or anything like that. But again, we always had a lot of really nice delis up in my area. So before diagnosis, I was eating a lot of bread, and this just reminds me of the delis.
So I thought that you were going to make my dietitian heart flutter and say, because of the seeds, it has more fiber in it, which is good for heart health and gut health.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great.
Fiber
That's great.
In the regular.
I believe low FODMAP as well. It's certified, right?
Yeah, these are both.
Which is why, again, why they're my go-to. I also, again, it's just a good flavor with the seeds.
Yeah. I love that.
Love the nutrition side of things, but I love the flavor.
Me being nerdy, and then just one more call out is this is what the products look like. If you aren't sure, it doesn't actually come in a large loaf. It's more, how many slices are in
We got 5 slices per pack, and we know, please add a 6th. We're working on it.
Yep.
But for right now, it's 5 per pack. And again, they are big. I am going to eat this. Don't worry, this is not going to be just taken away. People are like, oh, gluten-free bread's so small. I mean, this is pretty big. Look at my ear. Look at the size of this. The size of my hand. This is big. So
this is great.
I don't want to hear, oh, it's too small. This is very good. It tastes awesome. And now, so we've stacked on top. We've stacked the meat on top of the cheese. Now we're going to take some of the sauerkraut. We're going to go sauerkraut. Bam. And before. So just for everyone who's watching, you want this drained. You want that sauerkraut drained. We want the sandwich more dry than wet. So.
And it's also, sorry to interrupt you, it's also fermented, and it's good probiotic.
Love me some probies.
Good for gut health.
All right, now we're going back in. Throw it back on one more time. We're gonna go. Well, it's actually gonna be 2 more times, but we're putting it back in. But we're gonna go 1 minute, because then I'm gonna hit it up with some of our gluten-free sauce, and then we're gonna be set to go.
Cool.
All right. So next, fun question from Jane D. Is it okay to wash dried beans with gluten-free dish soap to make sure there is no gluten or cross-contamination?
That's interesting. I don't know if I've been ever asked a question like that, so this is good. So the first thing I will say to that is, number 1, remember that beans are naturally gluten-free. So I hear her point of once it's opened, and then if she's depending how she's prepping it, you don't need to wash the beans unless you're smothering it with gluten containing bread and an open kitchen and all the things. You really don't need to worry about having that cross contamination in there. If you did want to wash your beans, I would say don't wash it with the soap. But you can just do a thorough rinse to make sure it's clean. Make sure you're using a strainer or strainer, colander, whichever it is. Make sure that should also be like gluten-free, like dedicated gluten-free tool. And then you should be just fine eating those beans.
Perfect. All right. Hey, beans are good for your heart. So now take this bad boy out. Last time we're gonna hit this one more time, but right now we're looking to finalize this beautiful sandwich. All right. So I don't know. You can see I'm gonna get close here. We're looking. I mean, this thing is looking good right now. Look at the size of this. Now we're gonna hit it up with some Russian dressing.
Here, you can use this so that they can do it.
I'm gonna hit it again in the.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But let me get some of that real quick. Now we're gonna give a nice smear. Nothing crazy. We don't need this to be crazy sloppy or anything like that. I'm gonna do a nice little smear on the bread side. Bread side. It would be crazy to do the actual food side, but there we go. Okay, now we're closing sandwich. You're closed. And this is what we're looking at right now. Size of this thing. Yeah. All right. So we'll throw this back in, and this is 1 more minute of toasting. Again, this is taking a little bit longer because I'm doing it on camera, and we're talking in between everything. This process really only takes around, I would say, 8 minutes. So.
And we will, in case we didn't say that, we will be sending, as part of the toolkit, we'll also send you this recipe so that you can make it at home. Carl is not one to actually do a serving. He didn't look at the actual measurements, which is fine. You can just totally wing it. Whatever feels good to you.
Yeah,
make your sandwich, right?
You're making a sandwich. You're making a good sandwich. You do what you got to do to make it good. And yeah, so last question came in, and this one came in from Kenzie, and she wanted to know, what is the one best piece of nutritional advice you can give?
I love that question. Okay, so I can nerd out on this all day long, but I won't. I'll keep it short and sweet. But I do have two big pieces of advice. Number one is whether you are just newly diagnosed with celiac disease or you've been in the game for a while, maybe you're gluten sensitive. Wherever you are living gluten-free, I can't recommend enough to reach out and actually work with a professional, specifically a registered dietitian, to really understand what it means to live gluten-free. Because there's so much in the media between Dr. Google and going down all the social media, TikTok and Instagram. I'm seeing so many things, even a practitioner, that it's like I'm cringing over here because it's so not right. Whether they're giving false information or giving kind of daunting, scary information, it could be so overwhelming, and it doesn't really need to be. What I suggest is finding a registered dietitian who is maybe have taken the certificate of training for gluten-related disorders and celiac disease, and really have that one-on-one support so that you can ask all the questions. They can help you customize your lifestyle to be gluten-free within your means and what's realistic to you.
So it's kind of like catered to the person itself versus like a generalized overview.
Right, and getting accurate information. I think that's it's so hard as a practitioner. I can't. It's hard because then we have some of the questions that I can't imagine questions I've gotten in the past where it's just kind of the craziest questions that I'm like, oh, where are you getting that? It's so not true. And then it's causing overwhelm and anxiety for no reason.
Really quickly. So I'm going to take this out. We're going to look at this because I know you have a second part of this answer.
A last one. And then
but I also want to let people know if you're watching right now, feel free to drop any question that you'd like to ask Christiana in the comments. And she'll reach out to Beyond Celiac to get your answers out to you. So,
or we can do a separate live or something.
That's a good idea. I'm kind of into the don't mind going live.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, so why don't you show us?
All right, here we go. You got
do the one last final.
You got the final, and then you can give your other piece of good information Okay. Let's move this guy. And I mean, oh, I nailed it. I'm so happy about this.
You have to cut it.
Yeah, let's
And show them the.
all right. The cross section. All right. So look at the size of this thing for the record. Big. Big. All right. So nonetheless, Christiana, don't worry. I did wash my hands like 18 times.
There's also a real.
But I mean, do you see? This is what a Reuben's supposed to look like. I mean, this is it. Look at the size of this thing. All right, now I'm gonna take a big old bite. I don't mind if people see me eat. Here we go.
It smells so good. If you can all smell it in here, I wish you can.
Amazing.
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 It smells so good.
I knew I used Thousand Island or Russian dressing. You could also use mustard if you wanted to.
Right.
But
oh yeah, right.
Incredible. Incredible.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes. All right. I apologize for interrupting. Again, you'll have this available to you for your, you can make this for the snack.
This weekend for St. Patrick's Day, or whoever, if you do celebrate it, or your family. But you could also have it for lunch, right, Carl? I mean, when did you make this before?
So Publix? this is so I went down to Publix and we had
which is a grocery store,
a grocery chain in I think all over the place. But the event was in Florida and we were making these on the beach and it was such a hit. We decided hey, it's perfect. Let's keep showing people. Right? We sold out of the Reubens.
It was like the most popular thing. So I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the Schär special, so I can't wait.
I mean, this is a lot of meat on there. It's delicious. But all right, second piece of advice. What are we telling people?
Okay, so the last piece of advice, besides fully getting educated and getting that one-on-one support, living gluten-free, is just really also remembering that living gluten-free, it's not. You still have to remember to prioritize an overall balanced diet, and I think that's also something that people can get confused about, like, oh, I'm gluten-free, I'm healthy. That's, just because you're quote unquote gluten-free doesn't always mean that you're getting all the minerals, all the nutrients and vitamins that you need for your body to thrive metabolically, right? So again, making sure that you're getting a wide range of foods, of course, that meet within that gluten-free guidelines. And again, if you aren't sure, another call to work with a dietitian to make sure that you understand it. And for the dietitians out there, if you are interested in learning more about celiac disease, how to treat patients, how to support the gluten-free community and gluten-related disorders in general, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics also has a certificate of training for that specific course, for like how to treat gluten-related disorders, celiac disease, learning more about celiac disease and proper approaches to do that. I will include all of that in the toolkit that we'll send out after. So the toolkit will be for whether you're a patient or a practitioner. We kind of have a little bit of everything for all of you. Okay, so we are at, just want to check time. Lauren or Angela.
And for the record, I ate my half of the sandwich. It was delicious. It's not like I wasn't going to eat. I mean, it's incredible. So I really hope people do try this recipe. It's very good.
And I feel like Carl is just very theatrical. He is this in real life. Like I have to. So we have a lot of fun here at Schär.
Oh yeah.
But thank you so much for having us. Lauren and Angela, I'll kick it off to you.
Yeah, thank you both so much. Really, really appreciate it. We have a couple questions in the Q&A that I can pass over to you via email, and you can reach out to people individually, not put you on the spot with those. But yeah, thank you so much again to Schär and to both of you for today and for supporting us and everybody with celiac. As a person with celiac myself, I really appreciate it. And that sandwich looks delicious. I'm really excited to try this recipe.
Come on by. I'm making these for the rest of the office now.
Yeah. The whole marketing team is now getting it. And if you do make this at home, we would love if you tagged us. Right? On
please tag us. We are at Schär Gluten-Free.
Yep.
Yeah, would love it.
We love you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay! Well, that's wonderful. Thank you both so much. Anything else you want to say before we let everybody go back to their days?
Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for letting us talk to everyone. again, I mentioned this early on, why I like to do what I do is having a job with meaningfulness. And yeah, so very happy that you were able to include me.
Yeah.
And yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone.
Thank you,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. We'll wrap this up. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.